give you to represent me. That's why he says, when people always say, works without faith is dead. And they always misuse that scripture because they always use that scripture about your salvation. That scripture is not talking about salvation. It's talking about now how I work with my fellow man since I'm supposed to be living for God. And they say, well, works without faith is dead. Yeah. And that's why James said in chapter 2, he said, well, I will show you my faith by my works. They said, what do you mean? Because what happens when you know it's not dealing with salvation, because he's talking about, if Alicia came to me talking about, Brother Brian, I'm so hungry. I'm a broke college student. I don't have much money, and I'm just kind of starving today. And I say, man, I'm going to pray for your belly. Lord, fill your belly. And I walk off. Yeah, it was funny. She got my back. and I walk off. James said, no. Fill her belly, and then talk about the goodness of God. They come to me and you say, oh, I'm freezing today. My kids have no clothes. I say, well, I'm praying for warmth to come over their body. No. Jesus, no. Help them with clothing to wear. And then tell them about the love of God. He said, I will show you how much I live for God. By the way, I walk in God. He said, but this does not have nothing to do with your salvation in Christ. Because if that's the case, then it's back to your works. And as we read this morning, no man is justified. We read this morning, no man is justified by the works of the law. Nobody is justified before God by the good things you do. You're not. And you got to argue with scripture. He says, and as we read, he said, because any man that feels he's justified by the works of the law, he said, then you have to do every law and not break one. Because if you break one law, you're guilty of all. And now you're held to that standard. So you hold yourself in that standard. So that's why it's foolish when you run into people who are this new breed of Hebrew Israelites. And they all go, we got to go back to the law of God. You go there. You're on your own, brother. You got to go back to the law, brother. Do you know what the law says? You don't have respect for the law of God. The law is perfect. You're not. Yeah, I know it's not perfect. We got to do what we can, this and that. I get what it's saying, but you saying we got to keep the law to be right with him. So I guess you're wrong then, right? Well, but we know we got to keep the Most High again. What does the Word of God say? If you break one, you're guilty of all of them, and now you receive the curse from the law. The curses that come after curse, after curse, after curse. Hey, take these curses then, baby. But I just read earlier when Jesus says, I took the curse upon my own self so you can be free from the curse. Amen. You know what? Let me read that. I just read that earlier. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Jump there real quick. Oh, okay, here we go. I'm going to jump to Galatians 3 and 10. It says, for as many are of the works of the law are under the curse. That means I'm keeping the law. I'm doing all what I need to do to be right with God. That's mine. He says you're under a curse. For it is written, curses everyone that continueth not in all things. All of them. And remember, we talk about now 613 plus. Wearing the right clothes, eating the right food, my hairstyle right, my beard trimmed right, make sure I'm always eating with washed hands. I got to make sure on Saturday I cut on no fire. So how are you going to survive without him? Wait, you keep the Sabbath? So why'd your boil on? It's the winter time. Well, that's against the law. You got to order God. You can't pick nothing up. How you going to start your car? Because your car gets started by fire. Matter of fact, if you're under the law, the only way your sins can be covered for just 1 year, you got to take a spotless lamb before the high priest. Where's your lambs at, bro? They are spotless. Before the high priest has to do the sacrifice in the temple. Wait, hold on. There hasn't been a temple for 2,000 years, and the temple's in Israel. You're in America. How is this working for you? See, what happens is that you have to start ignoring parts of the law, which is a sin. Now you're under more curses of the law. Amen. So they try to get you in your ignorance. They say, hey, you want to follow this? Really? Where's your high priest at? Huh? A high priest had to be part of the Sanhedrin, had to be elected, put in place, and then the high priest had to sanctify the lamb, kill the lamb for you, sacrifice the lamb for you, and then stir it up, and it has to go up to the incense God in the temple. In Israel. We're in America. Israel's on the tip of Africa. How is this happening? And guess what? There's no temple. So it's a thing where, don't get caught in that foolishness. He says, you have to continue in all things which are written in the book of the law to do them. Yeah, that's the book of Leviticus. There's a whole lot of laws in it, in Deuteronomy. It said, and he said, but no man, now we're going to keep this clear, but no man is justified by the law. We're talking about God's written law. No man is justified by God's written law in the sight of God. What are y'all doing? When we start feeling that, man, Lord, I know I didn't do this much this week. I know I messed up here. You got other people preaching all the other stuff. He says, what are you doing? You can't be justified by your works. No man is justified in the sight of God. It is evident, for the just shall live by faith. And the law is not of faith. The law is not of faith. If somebody tells me not to run, that means just not to run. It's a law. That's none of the faith. He says the law is not of faith. He says, but the man that do them shall live in them. So the man who feels this is how he gets right with God, he says you're stuck in it. I'm reading from the word, man. He says Christ, man, I love this, my boy. It says Christ has redeemed us from the curse of the what? Law. Being made a curse for us. He took on your curse. Yeah. Why are you trying to take it back? When he was beaten, he was pounded, all those things were happening to him. When he saw the passion of the Christ, he could barely look because it was so bloody and nasty. That was him taking your curse on. And the worst part was the passion of the Christ, as horrific as it was, still was not accurate to how bad he was beaten. They say he was beaten so bad, his face was unrecognizable. You cannot recognize his face. The flesh, it wasn't whips on his back. No, all his flesh, by his stripe, his whole back, all the skin was ripped off. It was one big bloody mess. It says, by his stripe you are healed. Also, he was not wearing a little sash over him. Like we see in the movies, he wear a little sash. No, the Romans stripped you butt naked. And you had to walk through the street because it was a walk of shame. That's why it says, I took on your shame so you no longer have to walk in shame. Amen. So why are you ashamed? Because Craig said that I'm... What? Jesus, no. I'm the one that took on your shame. Yes. And you take on my righteousness. So it says, he took on our curse for us. It says, being made a curse for us, for it is written, cursed is everyone that hangs on a tree. That the blessing of Abraham might come on the Gentiles, non-Jews, through who? Jesus Christ. That we might receive the promise of the what? Spirit, Holy Spirit. Through faith. Faith in who? Christ. A faith that Christ gives you. Faith is a gift of God. Faith by grace is a gift of God. That way no man can boast. Not of works. That no man can boast. So Christ says, everyone that comes to me is because the Father has put a drawing on his heart to send him to me. He said, all that the Father has given me, I will not lose not one of them. So when somebody tells you some foolishness like, but you can walk away, what do it mean Christ lost you then? So think about it. If we were our child, and our child walks away, we lost them. If I'm going to watch it and they walk off, and they're like, oh my goodness, I lost them then. I lost them. There's no way around. I lost my child. And the spouse was like, well, baby, I was looking at the flat screen, 85-inch TV, and it kind of got me caught up, and next thing I know, I turned, they were gone. They're going to say you lost them. Because we're children in God's eyes. He says, my dear children. He said, remain as dear children. So guess what God says? He said, I will not lose one of them. He said, I am the door of the sheep. Amen. The shepherd sat in front of the door. It was a little door opening about that big. And the shepherd would sit in front of the door so the sheep could not get in and out. Could get in and out. That's why he says, I open the door and let them go to pastures. When he walks them to the pasture, and he said, I bring them back in. Sheep are not bulls. They don't run you over. Sheep are very meek animals. They sit there, they don't move. So it's a lot of things Christ has said to say, listen here, because you're in me now. Now you're righteous in me. And so since you're righteous in me, he said, you still deal with the old nature of the flesh, but your spirit is made new. He said, your spirit is instantaneously made new the day you give your life to me. And now since your spirit is made new, he said, that's why you're like, man, Christ, I live for you. I have a heart now where I want to please you. But yet I still have struggles sometimes with sin attacking me. And Paul answered that in Romans 7. He said, guess what? Paul said, I realize I have something in my flesh warring against the spirit living within me. He said, the things I want to do, I keep not doing them. And the things I shouldn't be doing, he said, man, I keep doing these things. He said, what is going on? Because I know I'm a new creation in Christ. And the Holy Spirit revealed to him. He said, wait, I have sin still living in the flesh. I've been made a new creation, but I'm still dealing with this old flesh that sin dwells in. That's why, even though we give our lives to Christ, we continue to get older and die. Well, my bad. We continue to get older before we go on to live with Christ. Because Jesus said, my people don't die. They said, what? He said, my people won't see death. He said, matter of fact, my people don't taste death. So, of course, they thought Jesus was crazy. They said, what do you mean? He said, you got to understand something, because y'all don't get what I'm saying because it's spiritual, but the last breath my people take there before me quicker than a blink. This body stays. The spirit goes to be with me. Paul then backs it up by saying, we're absent from the body, then we're present with the Lord. We're not in soul sleep. Absent from the body, present with the Lord. Jesus says, where I am, you will be also. And Jesus says, my people don't see death. He said they don't even taste death. Quick as we eat, I'm not going to bring up good food because last time everybody got chocolate cake. Okay, so we eat a Snicker bar. There we go. I'll leave it a Snicker bar. I don't eat Snickers, so I used to. I don't know, it's good. But eat a Snicker bar. Boom. As quick as you eat it, as quick as the taste bud hits your lip, and the message goes to your brain. He said, you go quicker to me than that. My people don't even taste it. So why are you fearing death? Don't you know I overcame it? That's why the apostles came out hype. And he rose from the grave. He said, man, touch my body. Touch it. Touch my side. Yep, come on. Hey, well, y'all got some food to eat? Let's eat together. So they can know he wasn't a mist and didn't just appear one time, but appeared one Sunday. And then Thomas missed it. And that's why Thomas was like, I won't believe it unless I touch him, unless I put my hand inside. I'm not going to believe that mess. Thomas was mad, y'all. Come on now. Think about it. You said you've been to church every Sunday. Every Sunday. And one Sunday you miss, you like, man, I stayed up too late last night. Oh my goodness, I'm so tired. Okay, you know what? I was a pastor. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna just try to do it through Facebook Live. So, but it's too hard for me to be there. And afterwards, you see us all on Monday, and we like, dude, after service ended, Christ came before us. He appeared. You like, what? You're like, dude, after service ended, we got ready to take communion. Christ appeared in the church. They're like, what, just you? Like, no, the whole church. We ate with him, we took communion, we talked with him and stuff. Like, man, whatever. This is what happened with Thomas. Thomas came to the door 10 seconds later. Yo, fellas got the Big Macs, cheeseburgers. What you want? Portillo's? Okay. And they all sitting there like, you're like, well, what? Well, why? Y'all not hungry no more? Hey, man, the Messiah was just here. What? Man, we just talked with him, man. No, whatever. And so he's mad. And so he says, unless I touch the holes in his hand and his side, I won't believe it. And so the next week on Sunday, he appeared on Sunday again, the first day of the week. And Thomas this time is in the house. I'm pretty sure he didn't leave all week. He didn't wash his butt. I already know he didn't go nowhere. He wasn't brushing his teeth like Thomas. You can always brush your teeth. But no, I'm not missing this one if he comes back. And so now Christ appears, and Thomas is there. But he appears and he speaks to Thomas first. And it still comes with grace. That's what makes it beautiful. He didn't come and Thomas turned. Thomas turned and saw him in fear. Thomas turned. Somebody get that scripture, my Lord, my God, for me. Thomas turned and saw him in fear. And when he turned and saw him in fear, Jesus was like, oh, what you think now? No, he didn't do that. He said, Thomas, come here. Touch the holes in my hand. And they really be like this area. Touch it on my side. Touch it in my side where he got pierced through. And Thomas touched it. And after Thomas touched it, he said, he fell before the Lord. And he said, my Lord, my God. What is that again? I couldn't hear you.
John 20 and 28.
John 20 and 28. I'm not going to do the reader. You know, church had to read them. They got that certain grace on the time. Oh, I say it. Okay. And it says, I'm going to start at 26. And it said, 8 days again, his disciples were with him, were within. I mean, they locked up because they were still afraid. And Thomas was with them. Then came Jesus, the door being shut. I mean, the doors were locked. There was only one door to get out. The door was locked because they were still afraid of the Roman soldiers. And stood in the midst, in the middle of them, and said, peace be unto you. He said that first because of fear. You gotta imagine, oh, man, peace. You good, bro. Then said he to Thomas, reach hither your finger, and behold my hands. And reach hither thy hand, and thrust it into my side, and put it into my side. And be not faithless, but believing. And Thomas answered and said unto him, my Lord and my God. Jesus said unto him, Thomas, because thou hast seen, you have believed. But blessed are they that have not seen and yet have believed. He was talking about us, y'all. We the blessed ones.
Amen.
What did Thomas see and believe? That he was God. My Lord, my God. He said, now you see, you believe who I am. I am, as we say, God the Son. You got God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. That's why it says God lives in us. And people say, wait, how can God live in you? I thought God was on the throne. Yes, God the Father is on the throne, but God the Spirit lives in us. They're all the same. Like I said, ice, liquid, running water, steam. They're all water. So it's not really difficult to get around to understand how God works. I mean, He's God. But they all still, God, are the same mindset, of the same focus. And it says, and they're all Him. And He says, so, and many other signs truly did Jesus in the presence of His disciples. He did many other signs to show He was God, which are not written in this book. But these are written that you might believe that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of God, and that you might believe that, believing you might have life through His name. So whose name do we have life through, saints? Jesus Christ. That's where life is at. Life is in Him. Not in the Rolls Royce. Not in the extra cute Boo Bear. 6 feet tall, dark chocolate. Hazel eyes. Light skin, red bone. Certain Coke-shaped bottle. Oh, not in that. He said life is in me. And He says, and so we understand at that point, we don't look for life in someone else because we're looking for them to keep life for us. And we'll wear them out. We put an unfair burden on them. Well, God says, no, it's your job to love like I love. And it's their job to love you back in that way. And now it's a relationship of giving and sacrifice. He said that is what marriage is. He says giving and sacrifice. Most of us get married because we think about ourselves. I want the royal wedding. I want to walk down like the princess. I got cars behind me. I come in my gown so long, 50 people got to hold it. I'm just gliding down the aisle. I got some, they glider shoes on. I can just glide. And the man is sitting there all down in there, and everything else, a beard cut just right and everything. I'm just sitting there, everything glossing and just flossing, looking good. It's all these things. And so most time we think about how this person's going to be there, and every night it's going to be, it's going to be on, and he'll be there to love me and be with me and talk to me all the time. And all these things we got in our mind, and we learn real quick. They bad news with me. I was good with me. I was running up. No, you hoodwinked yourself. You hoodwinked yourself because Christ let you know. Oh, you might have stuff to deal with. It's not like you think it'll be, because this is supposed to be a relationship of sacrifice.
Amen.
And it's like, that much sacrifice? Yeah, you gotta love like I love. What did I do? Oh my goodness. Your sacrifice is the same. Well, what am I still doing today when you're mine, you're always mine, and you're still messing up? What am I doing? I continue to love you. I don't let you go. I still hold you in. Love like that. Hey, Lord, that's not humanly possible. I know it's spiritually possible. That's why you have my Holy Spirit.
Amen.
That's why my Spirit is with you to give you power. As it lets us know in the book of Timothy, it says my Spirit, the 1 Timothy, I believe 1 Timothy chapter 1 or 3, it says we don't have the spirit of fear. It says God has not given us the spirit of fear, but a power, love, and a sound mind. So when you sit there afraid of what's going to happen to your job the next day, how you going to pay your bills, that's not from God.
Amen.
You're afraid what's going to happen with my children, Lord. I mean, I'm so worried. Look at where we're living at. Look at what's happening, Lord. What if things don't? He said, that's not from me. He said, my Spirit gives you power. Power, first of all, because you understand the prayer of the righteous avail much, so now I can pray, and through my prayer, it moves things. He said, my Spirit also gives you love. It lets you know how great my love is for you. So if you know my love is that great for you, you know I'm going to love your children too. If they with me here, with you there, or they with me here, they're mine. And I always have them. So you never have to fear. He says, and a sound mind. A mind of peace. A mind of focus. So the enemy of the flesh will attack your mind. He said, but this is what my spirit has come to give you. So that way, think on me. Think on me. Think on these things. He lets you know in Philippians 6 and 8. He said, this is what you think on. Holy things. Pure things. Things of good report. He said, if there's any virtue, there's any praise, he said, think on these things. This is where you put your mind at to walk in peace. But Lord, every day my children, I go to school, I know it's not the best place. He said, what did I say? Don't be worried or anxious about anything. But since you're anxious and you're worried about it, he says, what to do with it? He says, present it to me in prayer. He said, bring your worry and care to me in prayer and petition. He said, supplication. He said, petition. And say, Lord, I'm asking for you, Father, keep my children protected. Help them make the good decisions, Lord. You know they might be around bad crowds at times, Father. Father, that I ask you, Lord, put your hedge of protection around them, Lord. Keep them safe, my King. I know you love them because how much you love me. You gave your life for me and for them, Father, so you love them more than me, Lord. So I give them to you, and I trust you. He said, and when you do this, the peace of God, God's peace, not the peace of the world, shall guard your heart and minds through who? Christ Jesus. It will guard it. It will put guard over you to keep you safe, to keep you in a place of rest. And he wants us to know all this because, as we were talking about last week, with God making us kings, he made us kings and priests. Revelations 1 and 5 through 6. He says, we made kings and priests after Jesus Christ. It says the prince of the kings of the earth. And through Christ we made kings and priests. That means we walk around and we have the dominionship of Christ, but also we have the mindset of Christ. That's what a priest is. The mindset of Christ, how to love, how to treat others, how to move in wisdom, how to move in his grace, his beauty. He says, so one of the things that happen with us being leaders, because we understand, he said leaders are good followers.
Amen.
Leaders are good followers.
Amen.
And they flow with protocol. So we got to understand the whole first part to understand all Christ has done, all the ways he loves us, who we are in him, so we understand how we should love others, how we should treat others, how we should have grace for others. Because now we understand, oh, that's how he leads. Okay, and I'm supposed to lead. He said, be led by the Spirit of God. So we led by the Spirit of God. We understand that's how Christ led, so I'll lead in that same way. That's how Christ has grace and love, so that's how I have grace and love. So Christ really forgave me of every sin. So I got to really forgive them? Yeah. But Lord, I'm going to forgive, but I'm not going to forget. And Jesus says, let's say, I cast your sins as far as the east from the west. You say, okay, hold on. I buried them in the sea. Matter of fact, it makes it worse. He said, I bury your sins in the sea of forgetfulness. Wait, that's kind of, okay. Okay, maybe I find in the Greek it means something else. Because you don't love like that. And Lord, and you said, but that's not even, again, humanly possible. Lord, how can you forget? He said, listen here. Because of the flesh will bring back the memory. He said, the Holy Spirit can remove the pain.
That's it.
The Holy Spirit can remove the pain. And he can even show you the glory he can do through that pain. Then now it becomes, instead of a testing, it becomes a testimony now. You said, I thought this situation would break me, and I thought I was broken. But I didn't realize in my brokenness, the Lord was putting me back together with his love. He was piecing me together. When I'm sitting there crying out, and others looking at me like, man, they need to be strong in God. And the Father sitting there and said, look at my baby. Since my baby is weak, he said, guess what I say in Scripture? I'll be strong. So when Paul was a man who people looked at as somebody who's strong in the Lord, look at this man, mighty man of God, writing 12, 13 books of the New Testament. There's only 26. Look at all he's doing, and now Paul is dealing with all this pain. It said, all I know, he said, a messenger of Satan was sent to buffet my flesh. So let me know it's a demonic spirit tormenting him. He said, I came to the Lord 3 times, and Lord, I asked you 3 times, Father, please remove this from me. I don't want to deal with this. He said, the Lord said, my grace is sufficient for you. And see, with the wrong mindset, we'll say, well, God was telling Paul, listen, I did enough for you, Paul. Don't you remember you were murdering my people? You were murdering Christians. You were attacking me because you attacked attack mine. So the fact you got to deal with this, hey, deal with it. That's what the work-based mindset says. Until you understand the grace of God. And then when you understand the grace of God, you realize when God told Paul, my grace is sufficient, what he was telling Paul was like, listen here. If I was able to restore you for you being somebody who murdered Christians, I can handle this. I will give you what you need. And so Paul realized, but man, in this situation, I was not strong enough to handle this in my own power. I was too weak. So he said, I realized I had to just rest in God.
Amen.
I had to rest in God because this situation was so heavy, I needed God to handle it.
Amen.
He said, but when I rested in God because I was too weak to handle it, God's power overtook me. He said, so I realized something. When I'm weak, he becomes stronger in me. He said, so I will rather glory in my weaknesses, that the power of God may rest upon me. He said, so while the world boasts about how strong I am, what's my name? What's my name? You know, it's so, sure enough. So you know, you got things where it's about us wanting glory and about our power, and you come to Christ, and Christ says, be weak in me and I'll be strong in you, and I will make you strong.
Amen.
Release your strength so you can have my strength. Because guess what? Your strength is not adequate anyway. Because you know your strength after a while, you fighting, throwing stuff, you know, acting up, stressing, drinking, and smoking, because you trying to find something behind. You know, you got to deal with life, man. You got to be strong with life. Or a little longer, because I can chase away life, so. But the high gonna blow away, and the life gonna still be there. Like, yep, I'm here. You still struggle with depression, bro. I'm got depression. I'm going to the club, well, shirt all open, you know. I'm not. And the Lord's like, yes, you are. Another car, another car, another woman, another woman because you're still trying to find love. You know, another man because you still feel lonely. And he's saying, life is not those things. And I'm still saying, come on, see my love. He said, taste and see how good the Lord is. So you can be free of chasing things that are empty. Jesus says, leaders are good followers. And they follow him. We flow with protocol. That's why I'm not going to read through all this like last time, but in John 15, 1 through 11, Jesus says, I am the vine, you are the branches.
Amen.
The vine is what supplies nourishment to the branches. The branches can't live without the vine. He said, so I'm the vine, you're the branches. He said, my father is the husbandman. The husbandman is the person who tills the garden. He removes what doesn't need to be there and cleans the things away that's not good for you in your life. But remember, this is talking about your walk in Christ now. This is not talking about you being his. Because we've already been perfected in spirit. We're perfected forever because we're in Christ. Now we're still dealing with walking in this life. So now we're trying to learn how to live this life in Christ that we already received in perfection. Simple. You've been made a prince now, a king. You've been made royalty now. We never lived as royals before. So just like the girl who just got married, can't remember her name right now, in royalty, she's learning now the customs of what it means to live as a royal.
Meghan Markle.
Meghan Markle. Thank you. Meghan. Princess Meghan. So now she's been made a princess. She's a part of a royal family. That's set. Now she's learning how to live as a royal. So in Christ, we've been made royalty in God. That's why it says you're a royal priesthood. You're kings and priests. And now, after you give your life to Christ, you're his. Now you're learning how to live as his in him.
Amen.
That's how it goes. So now you're trying to live as he's to be his. No, you're his through Christ. Now you're learning how to walk in what you are now. It's a beautiful thing because beforehand, you were trying to make sure you did it right all the time so you wouldn't get kicked out of him. We're like, you messed up again? Get out. Get out of my house. I'm tired of you. That's what we used to from the world. He said, no. He said, I will not lose none of them. Everyone the Father has given me, I will keep all of them. Then no man will walk out of my hands. No man will leave me. I will not cast any man out. You're mine. Why are you trying so hard not to be mine? Oh, Lord, I know you get rid of me. Stop putting me in all your abusive relationships with the world. I am not like man. I came down from heaven to die for you. You think I'm trying to get rid of you? Come on, we got to think about things like that. He came from heaven. Not just came and died, he walked, and Jesus got stabbed up and died. No, he came. He was rejected of all men, face ripped, crown of thorns on his head. All these horrible things happen to him. To take on your sin, to get you back. You think he's trying to get rid of you? Come on. That's why it says, I lose none of them. They are mine forever. He says, now that you're mine forever, stop worrying about that. And now start living in what I call you to do. So now that you're mine, your soul can be at rest. He said, because after we become his, he said, now come learn of me so you can rest to your souls. Because what happens is now I learn what Christ has done, who I am in him, how he's made me. So now I understand he's in control. He's not going to leave me. He's not going to forsake me. He's directing me through his Holy Spirit that lives in me. And that he's done so much to show me how much he loves me so I can trust him. And so when I trust his way, even when things happening that I pretty much don't want to happen, I can still rest that God is in control. And now I can start getting rest in my soul and spirit and say, you know what, Lord, you got it, man. You don't know the future. I don't know the future. You do. You know the beginning from the end, Father. I don't even know what's going to happen in the next 10 minutes. I don't know if I'm going to walk and trip around the corner. I probably do. I don't know, Father, but you do. And so sometimes we'll make decisions that the Father don't want us to make. And we say, man, Lord, I see why you said don't do that now. But you're still mine. Just like our child. There's nothing our child can do not to be our child anymore. Because it's through DNA. Think about when we see or we hear a situation where somebody say that this person is no longer my child. No matter how bad they did, we like, they're no longer your child. That's pretty bad. But even though they say it out of their mouths, guess what's going to happen if they get in trouble? Your child, because of your child through DNA. There's no way around it. You know what? They need a kidney. They come to you. They're your child. They need blood. They're your child. And so we've made the children of God not through our acts, just like my son was made my son not through his acts, but through me. So we were made sons and daughters of God through Christ. And everybody knows he's my son because of the bloodline DNA.
Amen.
And we are the sons of God through the bloodline DNA of Christ. His blood.